All right, let's talk about gold. But forget everything you think you know. This isn't just some shiny metal we dig out of the ground. No, we're going to treat gold like a character in an epic story. A story that starts, believe it or not, in the middle of cosmic chaos and ends up right at the heart of our digital future. It's an incredible journey, so let's get into it.
The answer, of course, is gold. And that's really the core question we're tackling today, isn't it? I mean, how on earth can one single element connect things that seem so totally unrelated? You've got collapsing stars on one hand, Egyptian pharaohs on the other, and now, the future of AI. It sounds impossible, but trust me, the connections are there and they are absolutely fascinating.
Okay, so to really get why gold is such a big deal down here on Earth, we've got to go way, way back. And I mean, we have to leave the planet entirely. We're heading out into the cosmos, to the most violent, most extreme places you can imagine. Because here's the thing about gold. It's not from around here. It's literally an alien element, forged in star fire. So, here's what makes gold so special and so rare. Think about the elements that make you, you. Carbon, oxygen. That stuff is cooked up in the belly of a regular old star. Kind of common, really. But gold? No way. It's different. It can only be born in this insane, violent process called the R process. It's where atoms get absolutely bombarded with neutrons so fast, they just swell up into these super heavy elements before they even have a chance to fall apart. It is, without a doubt, the universe's most exclusive, VIP-only forge.
For decades, the story scientists told was that gold came from supernovae. These massive exploding stars. It made sense, kind of. But then a huge problem popped up, a timing paradox. Astronomers started looking at the most ancient stars in the universe and they found gold. And there was just no way supernovae could have made it that early. The timeline was all wrong. The numbers didn't add up. Suddenly, science had a real mystery on its hands.
And the answer they found? Oh, it is just mind-blowing. It turns out gold isn't made in one violent event, but two of the most cataclysmic events the universe can cook up. First, you have colliding neutron stars. These are the super-dense corpses of dead stars smashing into each other. And if that's not crazy enough, the second source is even wilder. Giant flares erupting from magnetars. We're talking cosmic monsters with magnetic fields trillions of times stronger than anything on Earth. That's where gold comes from. And if you want to get a sense of the sheer scale of this, get this. In 2017, scientists actually saw one of these neutron star collisions happen, and they did the math. In that one single event, it created somewhere between 3 and 13 Earths worth of gold. I mean, just stop and think about that. The weight of our entire planet, 13 times over, turned into pure gold, all in a matter of seconds. It's just unbelievable.
So that's great. There's all this gold out there in space. But how did it get here into our hands? Well, here's the next twist. When the Earth was just a baby, it was basically a big ball of lava. And all the gold that was originally here, it sank straight to the core, gone forever. So the gold we can actually find and mine today, it's all extraterrestrial. It was literally delivered to the Earth's crust by a massive asteroid storm billions of years ago, what's called the Late Heavy Bombardment. After that, it took eons of geological pressure and hot water to concentrate it into the veins we hunt for today.
All right, so our cosmic traveler has finally arrived on Earth. And this is where the story pivots. It stops being about astrophysics and becomes a story about us, about a 6,000-year human obsession. Because it turns out, the very same things that make gold special out there in the cosmos made it absolutely irresistible to us down here. This is where gold's human journey starts. And you know what? It's all about power.
I mean, just put yourself in the shoes of an early human, right? You're walking by a river, and you see something gleaming in the water. You pick it up, it's heavy, it's bright yellow, and it's already perfectly pure. You don't have to smelt it or anything. And the real kicker? It never rusts, it never tarnishes. It's basically eternal. This stuff was practically screaming, I'm special. So of course, it became the ultimate symbol for divinity, for power, for kings. And we know this for a fact. The first evidence we have is from a place called the Varna Necropolis from 6,000 years ago, where the elite were buried with gold to show off their status even in the afterlife.
And it was a pretty short leap from being a symbol of power to being the instrument of power. It became money. This timeline really walks us through it. It starts as a status symbol, like we saw in Varna. Then, around 550 BC in Lydia, they get the bright idea to mint the first standardized gold coins. Game changer. Fast forward to the 1870s, and you've got the whole world on the classical gold standard. Then, after World War II, the Bretton Woods Agreement pegs the US dollar itself to gold. For thousands of years, money was gold. And then, in 1971, with the flick of a pen, it just stopped. So what happened? Why kill a system that had worked for centuries? Well, in a word, rigidity. The famous economist John Maynard Keynes had a great line for it. He called the gold standard a barbarous relic. And his point was, in a modern economy, it's just too restrictive. If you hit a recession, you can't just, create more gold out of thin air to stimulate the economy. Your hands are tied. So in 1971, President Nixon cut the cord, ending the dollar's convertibility to gold. And just like that, the entire world shifted to our modern system of fiat currency. That's money that's backed by nothing but faith in the government that issued it. But here is where the story takes a fascinating turn. You'd think that would be the end for gold, right? Relegated to the history books? But no, the opposite happened. Getting fired from its job as official money was the best thing that ever happened to gold. It was free to reinvent itself. And it did, taking on 4 totally new, absolutely crucial roles in the world after 1971. And this donut chart of recent demand really shows you what I'm talking about. Look at this. Of course, you've got the big players you'd expect. Investment is the biggest chunk, and jewelry's right behind it. No surprises there. But look closer. Check out that 17% slice for central banks, and see that little 6% for technology? Those 2 pieces of the pie are where the really interesting stuff is happening right now. So let's zoom in on those. Okay, first, the central banks. Now this is ironic. The very same governments that kicked gold out of the monetary system are now buying it hand over fist. I mean, look at this bar chart. From 2010 to 2021, they were buying about 500 tons a year on average. But since 2022, it's more than doubled to over 1,000 tons a year. That is a massive shift. So why are they doing it? They're trying to diversify away from holding just 1 or 2 currencies. They're looking for a safe asset in a world that feels increasingly risky. It's a huge, quiet change happening behind the scenes of global finance. All right, now for that little technology slice. This is what I like to call the GPU gold rush. Remember those unique properties we talked about? Gold is an amazing electrical conductor, and, this is the key, it never ever corrodes. That makes it completely irreplaceable for the tiny, super reliable connections you need inside the high-powered computer chips, the very chips that are powering the entire AI revolution. And here's a perfect example. Take the NVIDIA H100 chip. It's been the workhorse for AI for the last couple of years. Each one of those has about 3 grams of gold in it, just for those critical connections. Now look at its successor, the new B200 chip. It is 2.6 times more complex. As these chips get more and more powerful, packing more and more transistors into the same space, the need for gold's perfect, corrosion-free reliability doesn't just increase, it multiplies. This isn't a temporary fad. It's a brand new, long-term structural demand for physical gold. And all of this brings us right to the future. Because technology is doing 2 things at once. It's not just creating this new physical demand for gold in things like chips, it's also, amazingly, creating a path for gold to come back into the monetary system. Not as some barbarous relic, but as a potential stability anchor for our increasingly digital world.
So, there's a really big shift underway in global trade right now. A group of nations, the BRICS countries, are developing and testing a new system for settling trades between them. It's called the unit. Now, this isn't a currency you or I would ever use. Think of it as a behind-the-scenes plumbing system for international trade, and its whole purpose is to work outside of the traditional financial channel.
So how does this unit actually work? Well, it's pretty clever. Its value is backed by a mix of things. 60% is a basket of the member country's own currencies, but the other 40% is backed by physical gold. The whole thing is built to run on a blockchain, which means it can operate independently. But here's the really crucial part. Gold is the system's stability anchor. And get this, it's valued by its weight, not its fluctuating dollar price. That gives the whole system a neutral physical foundation that isn't tied to any single country's policies. And while that's happening on the state level, a different revolution is happening from the ground up: tokenization. This is a technology that's basically making physical gold a native citizen of the digital world. The idea is simple. You take a real physical gold bar sitting in a vault, and you create a digital token on a blockchain that represents ownership of that bar. All of a sudden, that big, heavy, ancient asset can be sent anywhere in the world 24/7 in seconds. It becomes just as easy to trade and spend as Bitcoin, but with real physical back.
And you can bet that these massive trends, the central bank buying, the tech demand, the digital re-monetization, they aren't going unnoticed. Not at all. All the big players on Wall Street are taking a very close look, and as you can see, their forecasts reflect a belief that these structural shifts are going to keep pushing gold's valuation much, much higher.
So all this leaves us with one last big question to think about. We live in a world of infinite digital everything, right? Currencies can be created with a keystroke, and information flows like water. In a world like that, does a truly finite, physically scarce, eternal element, one that had to be forged in a neutron star collision, suddenly become more important than ever? Does it become the ultimate anchor of value? Well, gold's incredible 6,000-year journey on this planet seems to be screaming one answer: yes. Thanks for joining me on this journey.